Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the BBPM Business Podcast. I'm Melissa C. Williams, and this show is going to be about um, athletes, okay? It's about sports. It's going to be a two-part subject. The first part of the subject is we're going to talk about athletes or high school stars who have gotten scholarships or partial scholarships to attend college, but they sustain an injury. What happens to them? Okay. And then the second part is those who make it to the pros, but they don't have any fiscal responsibility. Okay. They haven't learned that. So I do want to bring this up before I get started. I met with a entertainment lawyer several years back. And I was trying to get a project off the ground, and that it was teaching business to youth. And he was talking to me, and he said, "This is a great idea." But he said, "I wish that at the time when I wrote this book, it was called Kids in Business." He said, "I wish this was for older students, like older teenagers, 18 years old, and college hopefuls." And he said the reason why is because many of these youth, when they do make it to to college or to the pros, he said they don't have any fiscal responsibility. He said the first thing that they do when they sign a contract is they want to get their money in advance and they start spending it lavishly. Okay. And he said this is a big problem. And he said it's too much for him to deal with, and he can't. Whenever he tries to have a conversation with them to teach them that they should save their money, and the money that they're spending, they need to spend it on things like assets instead of liabilities, and to learn how credit works, etc. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to listen. He said most of them have the similar ideas in their head that as soon as they get this money, they blow it. They want to buy flashy chains, nice clothes, designer outfits, shoes, and sneakers. Of course, they buy a house, either for their mom or for themselves, but mostly they buy fast, exotic cars and watches and things that they didn't have. You see, that's something that I guess um, for anybody, it doesn't matter. If you come from a home where there's not much, okay, let's say you're poor, you come from a poor life, the first thing you want to do when you get money, whether you win it by the lottery, if you win it gambling through the casino, when you get money, the first thing you want to do is to take care of those immediate needs, those things that you never had, things like, good food, going on trips. You just want to blow it. You want to have fun. But at the same time, that money is being spent. It's just going down the drain. You're spending it like water. You're spending it on your friends. You're spending on things that don't increase in value. And when it's gone, it's gone. Okay? So this is a big problem, they said. Um, this lawyer told me that this is a big problem in the entertainment industry, and especially in with athletes, that they don't learn these things because one, I said, and we all understand it's not really taught in the school system, okay? And it's not reinforced in the home. So if the parents don't have fiscal responsibility and the teachers are not teaching it, of course the children are not going to know it. And when they do get the money, they see other people with flashy things, so they want to floss and they want to show off, and that's the most important thing to them. And then when they don't have any money and they blow it all, they don't know what to do. So that's basically what the premise is of of the things that I'm doing, like writing books and having these podcasts and having these conversations, because this is something that I myself didn't know. I knew how to make money, but I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know about saving and putting and investing my money into assets. Some of the things I did have were assets were basically because this is just things that I needed for my business or for my life. Turns out they were good things for myself. But anyway, moving on. So my question is, when a college athlete gets a scholarship or a partial scholarship, and then they end up with an injury, sustaining an injury, what is the plan B for them? So if they're out of school for a while and maybe they have a concussion or a knee injury or some other type of a hip injury, what happens to them? Do they lose their scholarship? And if so, then what's the plan B? That's the question. Do they assimilate back into the community? Um, do people forget about them? Are there people helping them, family helping them, showing them what to do, how to make money? I've met several people, okay, several young men in the community who said they were football stars in high school and they got a partial scholarship to college and they sustained a sports injury and they didn't know what to do after that. Mentally, they were distraught, and financially, they just took any job they could. Okay, one guy, he ended up working as a waiter at a restaurant in the area, and I'm sure that's not what he wanted to do. To see, the thing that I wanted to say was, why not take some of those skills and that knowledge and use that to your advantage? So I wanted to give you some ideas of things that you could do or that you could, tell your children if this happens to them, if you're not able to send them to college or they just don't finish, okay? So for those who cannot go to college because they don't have the money, um, some things that you can do are apply to be a coach, okay? A referee is a good one. I don't think a lot of people know that they can be a referee, and I think they get paid per diem. So get yourself out there if you are a referee or decide that you want to become a referee. You get your name out there. You go out there and I guess you make business cards and you promote yourself, okay? And some other things are starting a business. You can be a private trainer, be self-employed. You can be a private trainer, private fitness trainer at a gym, or just do it privately with some of the other athletes. I don't know if it's basketball, football, I don't care what it is. Be a trainer and charge good money. Take them to the gym, put them on, you can also set up your own playbook, show them some of the plays that you did. See, this is a playbook right here that I found on Amazon, and I thought this was a good idea. So for those of you who were really good in high school sports, why not make up a playbook? You can make up a food plan. You can be a cook, a chef, a caterer. You can do massage therapy, anything that you want to do that you know that a pro athlete or a college athlete needs, okay? Such as they need a barber, they need grooming, and the list goes on. So those things that you can think about. If you finish college or you're able to, and you're lucky to finish college, you can become a talent lawyer, an entertainment lawyer. You can get into financial advising, estate planning for, these college students. You can also be a motivational speaker. You don't need to go to college for that. You can write a book about this. And like I said, some of these things are just ideas and some jobs that you can get that make pretty good money, okay? Some of these are six-figure jobs, and that's to work in utility companies such as gas, electric, the water company. People don't tell you this stuff. Another thing, for those of you, you can also be a pharmaceutical rep, which is a really, really good job. And I think it's very easy. I don't know. You can go online. Some of the pharmaceuticals that are hiring are like Eli Lilly, if you ever heard of them. There's several of them. All you have to do is type pharmaceuticals in your area. And I don't care if you live in New Jersey, I don't care wherever you live, just type in pharmaceuticals and you can apply. They have those jobs online. They'll say hiring. Utility companies, the same thing. And with the pharmaceutical rep, I remember because I worked at a partial care and the pharmaceutical rep used to come in, he would wear a suit and he would bring us like um, some nice snacks, that he bought, like cakes or cookies. And we had a doctor in the building, and he would bring the new medicines that came out for the doctor. So he was trained in information on how the medicine worked or the pills worked or whatever for the patients. And then he would explain that to us. Sometimes they would give us a class. And I think you just need to be personable and have your driver's license. okay, to do something like that. So those are some ideas. Pharmaceutical rep, working for a utility company, working in a gym, doing fitness. You can start your own business. Many of you have so many skills and talents, okay? So if you can figure out a business that you want to go into, like I even mentioned catering, you can start a restaurant. There's so many things that you can do out here that you can get yourself into. And investing is another one. You can get together with some other college hopefuls of like yourself and start a business together. You can start an investment company. Real estate is a good one. All of this stuff is online that you can learn. There's people who have books out here, and there's a lot of mentors that are in your communities. There are retired football players, wrestlers, basketball players that are actually in your community that can help. And a lot of them own businesses that are in your community. And I'm going to tell you about a few of them. So the next topic that I want to move on to is athletes when they do make it to the pro, okay? And they make millions and millions of dollars, but they blow it. And this happens a lot. People don't know this. People may not, or actually they do know this. But I just wanted to bring it up that it is very important that our schools integrate or begin to integrate teaching our youth how to become entrepreneurs, how to become self employed, how to pivot and turn, how to use the skills, their computer knowledge, how to use their knowledge of sports, of IT, all of that to, or learn new skills to continue to make money. Okay, that they can make $1 million in real estate to become a landlord, rehabbing houses, construction, those things they can do. And they can go on YouTube, they can take classes with I think it's Udemy. I don't know how to pronounce that. But there's a lot of classes out there that they can take online that will teach them. They can get certifications in these things. They can be truck drivers. They can get their CDLs. And these are just some ideas. And besides just letting them go and not helping them, who is guiding them? Who is guiding them, and and mentally where are they at when they're not able to finish or go to or become go to the pros? I mean, what happens to them? Um, so those pro athletes who have made it and made millions of dollars and have lost it have blown it on so many things. Really because no one taught them about financial literacy. Okay, and financial literacy is important to learn how to save money, how to grow it, to teach you about your net worth and how to increase your net worth. Okay, and those ways are to become an entrepreneur. Through investments. And these things are because as a pro athlete, you only have a certain amount of years before you're going to end up retiring anyway, or through injury, you end up not have being able to be in sports anymore. So what is your plan B? You have to have a plan B. Also, when you're making this type of money, you should know something about credit, how credit works. A lot of people will just buy things cash or have somebody else put it on their credit. No, you should have your credit score of 800 or above. Okay, you should be able to buy things in your name. You should know about liabilities and assets and liabilities. You should know about balance sheets. When you are in sports, you are a freaking business, okay? People are making money off of you. And you should know about your own money. You should know about your bank balance, your deposits, where your money is, who's spending your money. You should have a financial advisor and listen to them, okay? But you should have knowledge of yourself, counting your money, check your bank balance. These are the things that we need to know. You also need to know that you have to pay taxes on that money. If you don't pay taxes, there's a penalty. There's several penalties, okay? Um, the penalties are interest will accrue, and another penalty is you can go to jail, right? And many people have gone to jail because they didn't pay their taxes. You have to know about debt, how that accrues. Another thing, buying all these lavish gifts, it costs money and they're decreasing your net worth. Okay? Do you need 6 or 7 exotic cars? Do you know how many car notes that is? Do you know how much insurance that is? And the question is, really, can you drive all those cars? I mean, some of you don't even have a license, let alone driving a car. Do you need 3 houses? I mean, think about the property tax. Think about all the money that you're paying out. You know, many people in sports, yes, they have lost money to um, making bad financial decisions and also through divorce. I mean, yes, it happens. And these things we need to be, we need to learn this in school and in our lives and on our own. These are things that we can learn by reading books, by studying, listening to YouTube tutorials on people who know about this stuff. Okay, not just anybody. Your financial advisor. There are parents out here who do know about money. And parents, please tell your kids what you know about buying a house. This shouldn't be a secret, okay? That they're going to have to pay, even if the house was willed to them, they still have to pay property tax. They still have to pay sewer tax. These are things I didn't know. How to open up a savings in a bank account, okay? A checking account, excuse me. What was the purpose of these things, okay? Why do I need to have a savings account? Why do I need to have a 6 months emergency fund? I did not know these things, okay? I had no idea. What is interest? Inflation. We didn't talk about these things in the house. Although my mother was an entrepreneur, I tried to ask her about things like making a deposit in the bank. Never talked to me about these things. Okay? These are things, even if you don't know it, we need to start reading books, start listening to YouTubes, and start learning. There's no excuse for not knowing because the information is out here. There's courses you can take. You have friends, you have people around you that do know this stuff. They just don't talk about it. They don't talk about it to you. Okay? You have friends that have houses, have good jobs, have businesses, and they don't talk to you about any of it because, one, you probably don't even discuss it with them. You don't ask them. And these are conversations that we should be having. Okay? So I just want to talk, I want to bring up some statistics. Okay? This is a report on grunge.com that was written by a in Sports Illustrated, and it says, by the time they, being people, athletes, by the time they have been retired 2 years, 78% of NFL players have been bankrupt or under financial distress because of joblessness or divorce. It's not just in the NFL, but it's in the NBA. It's in golf, it's in baseball, it's in boxing, okay? Some athletes who have lost millions and gone broke. Some names like Vin Baker. He was an Olympian who became an addict, okay? I think he was a basketball forward. Then you have, I can't read my own handwriting, Bernie Kosar. He was in the NFL. He was a quarterback. He earned millions and he ended up filing bankruptcy in 2009, it says, okay? And by the time he finished, he only had $44 in his bank account. And this due to bad investments and a divorce, okay? And also, really huge, lending money out to everyone, lending money out to people, okay? We have other people such as, we have the skater, Debbie Thomas, figure skater, who she became a orthopedic surgeon at one point, but still, due to her attitude and arrogance, lost everything. Okay. Now we have Dennis Rodman, Dorothy Hamill, and the list goes on. John Daly, he's a golfist in the PGA Tour in 1991. Many of you already know all this stuff, but I'm going to just tell you anyway. And he lost it all. Okay. I said Dennis Rodman. I want to mention Antoine Walker because he said that he made, God, what was it, $100 million? I don't even want to say that, but he made millions. I'll just say that. Okay. He made millions and he lost it all. Yes, he said he explains how he lost $110 million. Okay. He said he spent it all. He spent it all. He said when he first got his first check, he bought his mother a house. Commendable. I applaud him for that. Okay. But then he went out and helped all his friends, bought them a lot of big ticket items. I'm not sure if they were houses. The article didn't say. It says that he spent lavishly on exotic cars like Bentleys and Maybachs. He bought jewelry, designer watches that he didn't need. Um, he took lavish trips, and he also took his friends and he paid for them. Okay. He said that he did have a financial advisor, but he did not listen to him. He would not listen to him. Okay. And this is the problem. He would not listen until he lost it all. Okay. Another one who described what he went through. And I commend any athlete who can say, I lost it all because of arrogance, not listening, or I didn't know. Okay. Dwayne Wade said that he went from making $200 in college to becoming a millionaire overnight. Spectacular. However, the problem was he didn't know what to do with the money, and he admits it. He said, I never had this type of money before. And I asked this question on social media to my friends, to my social media people on my timeline. I said to them, if you got $1 million today, would you know what to do with it? And all up and down my timeline, people said yes. And I thought to myself, really? I know people who have hit the lottery over and over and over, who have hit big at the casino over and over and over, only to do what? To put it right back in. Do you know how much money you spent over the years on lottery tickets and on the casino and on betting and on watches? Huh? I mean, sometimes I know that people are collectors of watches, but I'm going to be honest with you. How many watches do you need? Okay? And why do you need so many of them? It's just a question. It's just a question. Okay? Maybe you are a collector of these things. How many pairs of sneakers do you need? Okay? Some of you just continuously buy um, expensive clothes and you keep buying cars. Dwayne Wade said he had like 6 or 7 exotic cars. He said he didn't drive any of them, never drove them. He said, in hindsight, he said, I wish after he blew his money recklessly, he said, I wish that I had listened. I wish that I had listened to my financial advisor. I wish that I had learned financial literacy or responsibility growing up or before I made this money. Now, a lot of you, it's not going to be possible that you're going to be able to know all of these things. But if you're listening to this video or this podcast, I hope that it makes sense to you that you need to learn. Listen, I want to go back to a movie. I want to go back. I want to talk about this movie, and I think I speak about this all the time. It's called Baby Boy. Watch this movie. The character Ving Rhames, he talks about the butter and I can't think of it. The butter and basically it's about the Guns and Butter Baby. Okay, that line in the movie. I love that, and I remember that and there's so many movies and sitcoms out here that talk about business that you can watch. And I'm going to do that in another podcast. But he talks about the butter, the guns and the butter, baby. He's talking about those things, those assets that increase in that increase in I'm sorry, the assets and the liabilities that you guys are buying. Okay, the guns and the butter. So go back and watch that movie. I think it's a wonderful movie, and listen to that Bing Rames line. And there's several other sitcoms and movies that I'm going to tell you about, like I said. But anyway, so I've talked about the bad parts of being in sports, but I also want to talk about some positive things. There are um, some athletes who have pivoted and turned, okay? There are also athletes who have increased their net worth by buying up um, businesses and getting into real estate and property. Of course, we have Shaq, who owns several restaurants. I think he owns several restaurants. He owns car washes. He owns Five Guys. I think he has like 150 of those. He has like 10 car washes, and the list goes on. He does endorsements all day long. He does commercials every day. I mean, I think he does almost half the commercials, and then what's his name? Snoop Dogg does the other half. But Shaq seems to be doing very well. I don't really know about financially how, you know, he doesn't. A lot of these guys, I wish that they would talk more and teach our young people more about how they make their money, teach them about the financials and investing. I believe Rodriguez, A-Rod, I think he has an investment firm he just started, or I think he does real estate now. So a lot of these retired football players or baseball players or athletes, I should just say, all around, have begun to learn that they need to invest their money and that they need to have multiple streams of income. So many of them have bought up properties, they become landlords, development properties. I'd like to see them start foundations for our youth, okay, and to help people start businesses. I'd like to see more of that. And I know there are foundations out there, okay, and I would love to see them donate more to help people, to help startups in the community, okay, and to teach financial literacy, which would be excellent. Um, there was there's Deshaun Hardy, who is he's on the big screen right now. Okay, so he was a high school football star, an athlete who got a scholarship to go to University of Massachusetts, and he decided to pivot and change his life and change his career, which is something that you can do. And he's into film and television right now. Many of you know who he is. Okay. And another one, Albie Shore. Remember Albie Shore? Um, he was a football star, and he was awarded a scholarship. I don't know where to play. I don't know if it was Iowa or somewhere else. I can't remember. But Albie Shore was a singer, excuse me, he was a football star, and he got a scholarship. He was awarded a scholarship, and he declined it because he wanted to be a singer. So I think he worked with Quincy Jones on the Day and Night, and um, many of you remember him from back in the 90s, and I think he did something on New Jack City. But right now, he is a DJ. And I have him as a friend on social media, so I watch him. He's been a DJ for quite some time, so he pivoted and turned. So there's so many things that you can do out here. There's in your community, there are probably athletes who own restaurants and buildings and just could be mentors to you or be a muse. Where I live out in Monmouth County in in New Jersey, in the Asbury Park area, in Belmar, there is a former football player. His name is Rashid. Don't know his last name. I think it's Rashid Simmons. That's it. He's from Hoboken, which is up north, but he comes down and he opens up a soul food restaurant in Belmar, New Jersey. I've spoken about him before. All right. So if you're looking, we used to have others in the community. We had, and some of them, rest in peace. I think it was Bam Bam Bigelow, Daryl Dawkins, and so many others. I'm sure that you guys can extrapolate on that. But there's many um, retired athletes in the community who own stuff, own businesses, they're landlords, they own property. And this is the same, all of this also applies to entertainers, which I will talk about in another podcast as well. So my thing is this. I feel like we need to integrate more into the curriculums in the school system because the children are very smart, very skilled. But if you would add more to the curriculums and let them flex their creativity, which is something that I want to do. I've been wanting to do for years, is to bring in my youth entrepreneur or kids in biz program. I call it the K&B Company, where we give them a business experience, how to build a business, how to make their own products and services, to start their own brand. I mean, athletes can start their own brands. Even if you're not an athlete anymore, the fact that you have a big following, high school star, you still have people that love you. Don't fall off. Jump back in there. Start your own brand. Start your own athletic line. You can make your own meal plans. You can write a book. You can teach, you can coach, you can be a motivational speaker, you can have a podcast talking about sports. You know, you can go to a college, to these games. You can uh, take pictures. You can become a photographer, a videographer, a blogger. You can write articles, okay, and post them. You can make money. People love you if you just get back out there. If mentally you're distraught, I hope that you see this podcast. I hope that you guys like and share this, and I hope that this helps somebody. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again for another podcast on the BBPN Business Show. Thank you.